The RBC Avion credit card line is one of the oldest ones in Canada, and the program itself has seen massive changes throughout the years. Currently, it's one of the strongest points currencies in Canada, making it no surprise that some of these cards are the most popular ones we see on a daily basis. Welcome back to the CreditVerse channel. My name is Aalyan, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Avion credit card line. We're going to see what cards are offered, what perks and benefits you get as a card holder, and the various ways you can use your points to shop and travel. Currently, they offer 5 credit cards, 3 personal and 2 business. We're going to focus on the personal cards today and leave the business ones for a future video. First, let's talk about the bonuses. And this is pretty simple. All cards get identical bonuses every time they switch. This can range anywhere from the base bonus of 15,000 Avion points that we luckily haven't seen in a while, all the way up to the 55,000 Avion point bonus we saw last summer and coming into the spring. Generally speaking, the card offers a 35,000 point welcome bonus, which is received entirely upon approval. When the 55,000 point bonus is out, you still get the 35,000 points upon approval, but you need to spend $5,000 in 180 days or 6 months to get the remaining 20,000 points, making the bonus value over $1,100 in this case. Stay tuned to the end, where we're going to talk about when it's really worth it to get this card. The earn rates on this card are also only very slightly different. The Visa Platinum earns 1 point for every dollar spent on the card, the Visa Infinite earns 1 point on every dollar spent, and 1.25 points on all travel purchases, and the Visa Infinite Privilege variant earns 1.25 Avion points on every purchase on the card. Now, with Avion points having a target redemption value of about 2 cents per point, you can effectively double all these earn rates. Something you may notice that there aren't any bonus categories on this card like we see on pretty much every other card these days. Now, RBC is probably going to argue that these are travel cards and they earn points on travel, and they do get elevated earn rates on travel if you have the Visa Infinite or Infinite Privilege variant, but that hasn't really stopped other travel cards from having elevated earn rates on food delivery, dining, and grocery, and we'd really like RBC to put that in maybe sometime later this year. Moving into the benefits and perks, all 3 cards get 3 cents per liter off at Petro-Canada, as well as 20% more Avion and Petro-Canada points when you link your 2 accounts together. You also do get 20% off at Hertz, and 2x the Avion on all purchases made there. To top it all off, RBC has included 12 months of Dash Pass, which is pretty helpful and worth about $120 on all 3 cards. The benefits section is where the Visa Infinite Privilege variant is just a little bit different. Now, not only do you get fast track security, there's also a couple of other airport benefits, and you do get 6 complimentary visits to Dragon Pass lounges every single year. Now, it's hard to say if these extra perks really justify the $270 increase in the Visa Infinite Privilege annual fee at $399 compared to $120 for the Visa Infinite and Visa Platinum variants. But, if you travel a lot and you're a big spender, you can maybe say that this is worth it, because you're going to save about half an hour every single time in a security line in either Vancouver or Toronto. RBC has taken a page out of American Express's book with the introduction of RBC Offers. This is where you earn a rebate or elevated rewards at certain retailers. Another reason these cards are probably so popular is because of RBC's Avion program. Now, there's a plethora of redemption options available, but not all of them have equal value. As a general guideline, the more flexible the redemption option, the worse the value. There's also 2 different types. Non-travel, which is generally merchandise and cash, and travel, which is, travel. The first and easily the worst value redemption option is to use your Avion points to pay off your credit card balance. Unlike other issuers like American Express, who let you redeem 1,000 points for $10, RBC does it a little bit differently. They let you redeem 4,300 points for $25 off your credit card balance. Now, if you do the math here, this is a terrible redemption value of 0.58 cents per point, and it's effectively setting your points on fire. Unless you really are in a pickle and you have hundreds of thousands of points and you need to get rid of them somehow, we would probably suggest using pretty much any other method here. A slightly better option is to purchase merchandise at retailers like Best Buy or Apple through the Avion program. Now, the value isn't great here at about 0.65 cents per point, but if you have about 845,000 Avion points burning a hole in your pocket and you really want a Max Studio, I'd say go for it. From what I've seen, the most popular redemption option is just using your points to buy gift cards. This is generally done at a value of 1,400 points for a $10 gift card, making it about 0.71 cents per point. And again, this isn't great value, but sometimes there are some bonuses on certain gift cards that, make it closer to that 1 cent per point mark, which Again, still isn't great, but you'd get somewhat close to cash value doing this. So again, if you have a lot of points and you have nothing else to spend it on, maybe you should try this. The best of these non-travel redemption options, but admittedly still not great, is to use your points to redeem for a set of financial rewards. Now this can either be paying off some of your home equity loan with RBC, or even covering the trading fees in your RBC direct investing account. Now again, the value here isn't great, but it's about 0.81 to 0.85 cents per point, which is relatively strong, I guess, if you have nothing else to do, and I guess you're being somewhat responsible, either using it to invest or paying off some of the loans you already have. Moving into the travel options is where you can get much better value out of your hard-earned Avion points. And this isn't really much of a surprise since this is a travel card, a fact that RBC drills into your head pretty much constantly. Now the advertised option here is to use your points to redeem for flights using the fixed points travel grid. Now this can be really good in some cases as there are some benefits to booking like no blackout dates, but you are also hamstrung in some cases. First and foremost, you are a bit limited in what you can do as there is a maximum ticket price you can book. Generally this isn't too big of an issue, but sometimes during peak travel times this can get a little bit tricky. Next, and arguably the more annoying part, is the fact that they don't actually cover the surcharges or taxes and fees. It only covers the base ticket variant. And this is a little bit annoying, specifically on flights to Europe where, 30% or 40% of your fare can just be attributed towards those carrier-imposed surcharges or any taxes and fees. Therefore, for domestic and transborder flights, the fixed point travel grid can be a great option as you're going to get close to that 2 cents per point target value pretty much every single time. But, for long haul to places like Europe, you're going to get closer to about 0.87 or 0.9 cents per point, which really isn't that great. Generally, the best value and easily my favorite way to use Avion points is transfer them to a host of transfer partners, specifically for booking in premium cabins. RBC has a modest selection available here, but not all are equal. WestJet is probably the weakest of the bunch here currently, with 8,000 Avion points being worth 10 WestJet dollars. Now this isn't great value as it's 1 cent per point, and by using the fixed points travel grid for domestic or transborder flights, you can get closer to that 2 cent per point mark. But if you have a lot of Avion points and you really want to fly WestJet's business class on the 787 going to Europe, for example, which in my opinion has one of the most tasteful color palettes of any premium cabin product, this may be the way to go. It's still going to be a little bit pricey, but sometimes the cash values for those flights are not really too bad, and it's much cheaper than getting to Europe in most other ways. If you try to book the same thing using the fixed points travel grid, it's going to be much more expensive as it only covers economy class travel, with the exception of if you have an RBC Avion Visa Infinite Privilege card, where you can redeem for 2 cents per point in any premium cabin, which is something I don't know if I talked about in the previous section, but it is a perk that exists, and also makes it justify the annual fee just a little bit more. American Airlines Advantage is a bit of a wildcard option here. You can transfer Avion points at a 1 to 0.7 ratio, which admittedly is not the best value, but American Airlines has one of the better partner redemption grids for any one world carrier, and it easily has the best interface available to search for award flights. That's generally how I search most of my award flights, and if you guys want a video on how I do that and how I'm booking Q suites later this year, please let us know in the comments below. Anyways, as I said before, this generally isn't great value as you take a 30% haircut right away, but you can get about 1.5 cents per point on economy, which sometimes ends up being the best you can really do, and about 4 cents per point on business class on certain routes. This is as long as you steer clear of the dynamically priced awards from American Airlines themselves on their own flights and operated planes, just because those can sometimes go for absolutely ludicrous amounts. If you were part of the unlucky majority like myself, who missed out on the free Cathay Pacific flights to Hong Kong, you can still redeem your Avion points or flights on the carrier. Transfers are done at a 1-to-1 ratio, meaning you immediately avoid the 30% haircut you face with the American Airlines program. I will admit though that I've never been able to find any award space in a premium cabin on any Cathay Pacific flight, which is a shame because they have one of the best business class products available on their A350-1000, and it's something I really want to experience. So if you know what I'm doing wrong, please let me know in the comments because I genuinely have no clue. They also have a decent award chart for partners, but they have a booking form you need to complete, and I really don't have the time to do that, and I really haven't had a chance to play around with it a lot. So if you guys have any experiences with that, please let me know in the comments as well. Saving the best for last, British Airways Executive Club is also another option, and it is by far my favorite transfer partner. This is not only because you can redeem for some of the best products in the sky, but I also do have a bit of a soft spot for BA for some reason. Not only can you experience BA's own business class, Any points in your Executive Club account are also present in your Qatar Airways Privilege Club account, and this can allow you to redeem for the coveted Q-Suites product, which is by far the best business class in the sky, in my opinion. For redemptions in business class, expecting about 5.5 cents per point is definitely not unreasonable, but to flights to the UK in premium cabins, you should really knock this down a little bit, as these surcharges passed on by BA can total about $500 one way. Okay, so now that we've gone through these cards in excruciating detail, are they worth getting, and at what bonus? One thing's for certain, and that's that they're not workhorse cards. You should be putting your spend on pretty much any other card, like an RBC Avion or even an Amex Cobalt. That being said, I think the bonus makes this card a solid pickup just in and of itself. If you're choosing between the three variants, I'd probably push you more towards the Platinum or Visa Infinite, rather than the Visa Infinite Privilege, just because the $120 annual fee is a lot easier to stomach. But if you travel a lot and you're going to be able to get value out of those specific perks, then maybe the Visa Infinite Privilege variant is worth it for you. As for what bonus, RBC, as of right now, doesn't have any once-in-a-lifetime language at all. So theoretically, you could pick this card up with a 35,000 point bonus, worth $750, and subtract the $120 annual fee, and you'd still definitely come out ahead. Now, I wouldn't recommend doing this all the time just because you're going to get a ton of cards in your wallet, and you're going to have a ton of points and probably not enough time to use them. But, getting this with 35,000 points, and then after a year or 6 months, when the 55,000 point bonus comes around again, applying again shouldn't really be too much of a problem, as long as you stay out of the 290 rule, which we're going to talk about in a later video as well. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like, and if you want more content like this delivered straight to your subscription box, you know exactly what to do. With that, take care.